Hello everyone, I am JV and Dr. Mohammad Mehraj Alam, Assistant Professor of Economics, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In this session of video, I will discuss about the privatization which was the part of economic reform in 1991. In the previous video, I have already discussed about the economic reform, factors which are responsible for the economic reforms, and the crisis which led to the economic reform, privatization in length. Right. This is the part of Indian Economic Program, a paper which is taught at a second semester BA B.Ed program. Let's come to the privatization. Let's discuss about the privatization and what is it's all about. Right. First of all, we'll discuss the basics of privatization. What do you understand by privatization? What means the privatization stand? Privatization refers to any process that reduces the involvement of the state or public sector in the economic activities of a nation. It reduces, clear cut it defines, it reduces the involvement of the state or public sectors in any economic activity of the state. It known as you may privatization, right? Contrary to the post-independence thrust on enlargement of public sector, the economic reform of 1991 recognized the private sector in the process of development, right? Privatization uh, in a mixed economy like India can take several forms, right? Privatization means I think you may able to understand the what is it's all about when the uh, process of reducing involvement of the government, right? It is the process through which we can reduce the or in which government reduce the involvement of or direct interference in the economic activities of any sector of the Indian economy, right? It implies a shedding of ownership or management of a government-owned private enterprises. That means government reduces willfully government will reduces the ownership of the enterprises through which government through the privatization government will able to sell their share to the in the hand of private players, which known as the disinvestment, right? Government companies are converted into private companies in two ways. If any government to want to privatize their economy or privatize their sectors, they have they have to do two things first, right? They have to transfer ownership. So to transfer the ownership of the government companies, there are two ways. Number one is by withdrawal of the government from ownership and the management of public sector companies, and second is by outright scale of public sector companies, right? If there are existing companies, right? If there are a larger number of existing public sector companies, you can transfer the ownership or management to a private companies or a private individuals. And the second point is that you can reduce the number of a scale of reduce the number of public companies and a scale of public sector companies through which you can transfer the ownership into the hand of private players or private individuals. Privatization of the public sector enterprises by selling of, of part of the equity of PSCs, public sector enterprises, to the public is known as disinvestment. The process of privatization is known as disinvestment, or you can say disinvestment is a process through which a country is, a company can be privatized from public sector, or you can say privatization is a process in which disinvestment take place, right? The purpose of the scale according to the government, was mainly to improve financial discipline and facilitate the modernization. What was the purpose of disinvestment? As we all know that India was facing the crisis of huge economic imbalances before 1991. There were very least source of income. There were only one source of income was left to the government, that was the taxation. As we all know that the base of taxation in India is not broad as much as should be. It should be right. So government uh, intentionally sell out some of the public sector companies into the hand of private sector. There were various reasons which I will discuss in the later part of the video, and some of the discussion already have been taken place. The purpose of the sale was, according to the government, was mainly to improve the financial discipline of the companies. Already, most of the public sector companies were running into the losses, were getting into the losses, not in the 1 year or 2 year. Number of years they are getting losses and losses, more than 5 years, 10 years. The balance sheet of the companies were very much poor. The most of the time the enterprises shown the huge losses. Right? It was like a burden for the government. This compel and force to the government to sell out the public sector enterprises into the hand of private individuals. And the second point of disinvestment was to modernize the enterprises. The PSUs, which were very old in India, were not able to use the modern techniques of production. Their machines, their technology were so old, their product not up to date, not marketable as much as it should be. There where the global competitiveness were rising at the time of India and across the globe. Indian products were no more recognized. So modernization of the existing units were one of the important aspect, right? So these two points were the important for the disinvestment, which leads to the privatization of Indian enterprises, public enterprises, right? It was also envisaged that private capital and managerial capability could be effectively utilized to improve the performance of the PSU. Uh, One of the observation of the different committees which was appointed to look the matter related to performance of the PSC, public sector enterprises, they suggested that the employees of the PSU were not their performance were not good. Their working style were not good. They're not able to utilize the resources in an effective manner. Most of the resources were not utilized properly. Some of the was overutilized. Some of the resources were underutilized. So the to utilize the resources into a proper manner, there were only one chance option were left to the committees to disinvestment these public sector into the hands of private players. So can the efficiency could be improved, and the resources could be saved, and the resources could be utilized in the proper manner. Right. The government envisaged that privatization could provide a strong impetus to the inflow of FDI. Government were thinking that only privatization and liberalization can take place the huge inflow of FDI. As I have already discussed in my previous video, I have told about the FDI. FDI, there are two types of foreign investment takes place in any country. One is in the form of FDI, that is foreign direct investment. Investment takes place in the physical form of infrastructure. If there are any foreigners or foreign companies are willing to invest in the physical infrastructure of India, will be known as or is known as the FDI. And the second one is the foreign institutional investment. If investment takes place in the financial market, money market, financial institutions is known as the foreign institutional investment. So government were thinking that if uh, economy could be liberalized or privatized, there may be a huge flow of FDI in the Indian economy. And policymakers and the government was right. There, after the economic reform, India were the hottest destinations for the investors after few years of economic liberalization. Right. The government has also made attempt to improve the efficiency of PSU by giving the autonomy in taking managerial decisions. There were some PSUs which were not privatized at that time, were provided some autonomous type of character, some autonomy in the decision making, in the production, in the financial position. So can they can improve their efficiency. They can compete of the rest part of the world. For instance, some PSUs have been granted a special status as Maharatnas, Navratnas, and Mini Ratnas. The PSUs which were not disinvested or not privatized were given autonomy to run themselves, but all the PSUs were categorized in which was left to the government were categorized into three categories. That is Maharatnas, Navratnas, and Mini Ratnas. Right? These were the name given to the uh, companies. Now let's discuss something about what is these Ratnas, Navratnas, Maharatnas, Navratnas, and Mini Ratnas. Right? I think you all are aware about the Navratnas in the Mughal period, in the time of Akbar, right? There were some group of people used to sit with the Akbar's Darbar, where I think nine people, nine jewels in the imperial court of King Vikramaditya, in the who were eminent persons of excellence in the field of art, literature, and knowledge. The name derived from these periods, right? So, in order to improve the uh, efficiency of India, you know, uh, PSUs, the name have given to them with the autonomy, right? According to their talent, according to their knowledge, in order to improve efficiency, infuse professionalism, and enable them to compete more effectively in the liberalized global environment. Right? The government identifies PSC and declare them as Maharatnas, Navratnas, and Mini Ratnas. Okay, they were given greater managerial and operational autonomy in taking various decisions to run the company efficiently and thus increase their profits. Right. Greater operational, financial, and managerial autonomy has also been granted to profit-making enterprises referred to as mini ratnas. Right. The central public sector enterprises are designated with different status. A few examples of public enterprises in their status are as follows. Maharatnas Maharatnas were included these companies: Indian Oil Corporation Limited (IOCL), SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited (SAIL). Both were in the Maharatnas category. Navratnas were Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited, and the Mini Ratnas Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, Airport Authority of India, Indian Railway and Catering and Tourism Corporation of Limited. Right. These were the public sector enterprises. were classified into the Maharatnas, Navratnas, and Mini Ratnas according to their size and ability and performance. Right. Many of these profitable PSUs were originally formed during the 1950s and 60s, where self-reliance was an important element of public policy. They were set up with the intention of providing infrastructure and direct employment to the public so that quality in the product reaches the masses at a nominal cost and the companies themselves were made accountable to all stakeholders. Right. The granting of status resulted in a better performance of these companies. Scholars allege that instead of facilitating public enterprises in their expansion and enabling them to become global players, the government partially privatized them through disinvestment. Of late, the government has decided to retain them in the public sector and enable them to expand themselves in the global markets and raise resources by themselves from financial market. Right. These were the conditions of Maharatnas and Navratnas, which were guaranteed to the PSUs by the government at the time of economic reform. Most of the PSUs were either sell off or they private some of their parts, and they sell out their sum of share into the private individuals or liberalize. Remaining those left, they were granted the status of all the three Ratnas, that is Maharatnas, Navratnas, and Mini Ratnas. So this was the condition of liberalization. I think this is sufficient in this video. Rest part of the liberalization I will discuss in the next part of my video. Thank you so much watching this video.